Then there's a fourth floor, but this is the second floor on this side. So now we can head downstairs to the first floor. After my superintendent told me, but see, here's the types of, you can sort of see the locomotive here. It had overhead power source. So that's the kind of electrical locomotive they had here, and this is just additional.
Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're coming to you from Steamtown Railfest and I'm making a special video just for you guys because this building right here is the office and storage building. We're going to be taking a tour of it, and the highlight of it is down in the basement. There's actually a subway tunnel that connects to that building right there, which is now General Dynamics, is a former locomotive shop. And the subway tunnel has tracks that used to transport materials to and from there, and actually goes underneath South Washington Avenue. Pat McKnight, the park ranger, will take us a tour down in the basement and show us the rest of the building. And I wanted to share with you guys, so you're invited too. So if you're ready, come along with me.
Steel reinforced concrete building. And I've been told, 1910, that's not that old, but I found out another building in the National Park Service that's this steel reinforced concrete building. I even took a picture when I was there. Not a very good one. But you can see this building was built in 1922, and it has concrete arches very similar to what we have here. But this is the interior of that building. And this one's built in 1922. This building's 10 years older than that one. And this building, does that look familiar? Wow. That's the Lincoln Memorial. This building is older than the Lincoln Memorial, but it's also built with the same kind of construction, although if you look at their building, they actually have stalactites coming down from the ceiling because the concrete is not as good as the quality that we have here. Watch your step. Again, the primary purpose of this building was a warehouse for railroad equipment. So there's, on this side of the building, there's 3 floors and a full basement. On the east end of the building, there's actually 4 whole floors of office buildings, an office building, as well as a full basement. So it's a pretty good sized building. Any idea how many elevators we have in this building? What? No? 5. Again, I told you it was built in 1910. If you look around, the concrete looks pretty new. So that's just how they built, used concrete in those days. The DL&W Railroad even had its own concrete laboratory. So a little bit of everything. That's as far as they go going that way. They were intended to go to the back shop. But like I said, it was a subway system. One kind of funny thing is when I bring kids down here, they usually ask better questions than most of the adults do. And when I showed them here, I said, oh, this is a subway, and it was a Cub Scout pack from New York City. And the kid's first comment, he looked down there and goes, where's the third rail? Yeah, I said, smart kid. I said, it was actually an overhead. So we put a lot of pipes in here since then, but the electrical power was transferred from above, like a trolley. Kind of interesting, but see, here's one of the elevator shafts. This is elevator shaft number 1. It's almost big enough to get driving forward into the whole front of the elevator. Any questions?
When's the
They have a tendency of saving stuff off to the side.
When's the last time this was used, the rails?
Last time they were used, I'd say in the 1950s. Now, by the 1950s, they no longer had the overhead. The little locomotives they had that worked down here were battery operated. So into the 1950s. In the 1950s, the railroad stopped using the shops across the street. That's now the Chamberlain. And when the military took over the Chamberlain, they stopped using the tracks. That was in the early 50s.
Okay.
To the best of my knowledge.
So it may have been hard to hear him, but this building was built in 1910. The rails down here was electric overhead trolley system almost to transport from this end of the building to the locomotive shop across the street. Later on changed to a battery operated locomotive and was last used sometime in the 1950s. But as you can see, the rails are still here. And as we'll see farther ahead, it goes quite a ways down a tunnel. So this tunnel runs into an elevator that goes up to the surface.
There's like a big scrap dock. And to get to that scrap dock, you could have the carts down here and it'd actually go to this, and this elevator would take you up to the scrap dock. And you could sort out any of the material from there. So this is the third elevator shaft. And these pipes connect to the gas house that's next door to us. The gas house actually made gas. It was a coal gasification plant that the railroad built the same time they built this building. And it was used in the industrial processes in the yard. So they actually had a coal gasification plant. They had their own scrap bins where they sorted out stuff for recycling. They do better, did better 110, 120 years ago than we do now with our recycling.
You're running a dryer.
Well, the thing is, the old gas house is our utility. We have heaters and chillers there. So any air conditioning.
That goes right up to the surface. This is an elevator shaft.
These pipes from the gas house. Yeah, who knows around here?
So right out here is South Washington Avenue, and here's the main tunnel that goes alongside South Washington and eventually crosses underneath it further up.
All the way down after my superintendent told me. But see, here's the types of, you can sort of see the locomotive here. It had overhead power source. So that's the kind of electrical locomotive they had here, and this is just additional stuff here.
Are any of those still left?
No, none of that's left, or even the carts that they had brought along. But it does go all the way to the end, takes a right, goes underneath Washington Avenue. Used to be, when I started giving tours down here, the wall between us and them on the other side, used to actually peer through there and see them working. After a few of my groups came by, they bricked it up the rest of the way.
This is massive.
Yes, it is, but remember, this is only 10% of the complex. The other side that the military owns and runs right now is almost 10 times bigger than this. So a little bit of everything. And the whole entire area was interconnected with their subway system. So people working in this building, they wouldn't have to go outside if they wanted to go to the other side. So.
But on the other side,
how far does this actually go then? That's one part.
Well, this goes
To that wall?
Yeah, to that wall,
It
takes
goes
a right,
underneath the street.
and it's underneath Washington Avenue. When you're there, you can actually hear the cars rumbling above you.
Oh, okay.
on the other side, they were able to construct a complete steam locomotive then?
They had the facilities there. It was an erecting shop. They could maintain. That's where they did their major work on steam locomotives. When they stopped using steam locomotives in the early 1950s, they modernized the back shops, and they basically wrote off that side of the building, and the military took it off to make artillery shells. Nothing that goes boom though. And I guess they also make natural gas well equipment too, piping and stuff over there. So it's still used.
So unfortunately, we couldn't go all the way down there due to some crumbling cement farther down, just for safety reasons. But if you want to see what the rest of that looks like, I will link a previous tour down below in the description. You can check it out.
And remember how at the very end where they go through the glass ceiling?
Oh, wow.
There was a glass ceiling up there. And it was like, yes, it's our Willy Wonka elevator. But again, a little bit of everything. This was the office side of the building. This building is called the Office Storage Building. One side is offices, the other side is storage. And what's kind of funny, when the Park Service built their offices, we built.
So that elevator is from 1910 and looks like the Willy Wonka elevator. It's pretty cool. Oh, and here's the elevator shaft.
So we're on the first floor of this building. We'll be doing my best to see how.
It's something you don't see nowadays.
Only 10?
Yeah, end of the year money.
Is that the souvenirs you get?
Maybe, but again, we went through the back door of this building. This here would have been the front door on the office side of the building. And this was such a fancy new building, guess what kind of door they had? Revolving door. And if you did work on the 4th floor and you wanted to mail a letter, you just drop it in your handy dandy mail chute. So they did have a little bit of everything.
Revolving door. And out there is General Dynamics and South Washington Avenue. And so there's an old mail slot. Drop it down from the 4th floor. Be a collection box right there. Some old offices.
I'll let you guys catch up on this floor. Take a couple. This is just a little closet. Women's restroom.
It's almost like a decayed abandoned building, even though it's not.
Come in here. Let's look at this room. You know, when they always talk about having a corner office, this is where I'd like to have the corner office. You have a nice view, you have your own private restroom and your own coat closet.
And right out there is where the tunnel would have went underneath.
And looking out that way, when we were underground in the tunnel, that tunnel, when it took the right, is right where that concrete pad out there is. So you see those cones there? That's where it takes a right.
So it's under the parking lot out there.
It's under the parking lot. Go straight on out there.
The old lighting.
Yeah, I love it.
There's some glass up on it.
Yeah.
No, the floor is damaged through leaking and stuff.
So we're not even locking in.
They're actually looking to take it out. It is a sprinkler system, and when they built it in 1910, it was fully sprinkled.
Ooh, this is quite a safe.
That's actually going to be coming out soon. So, see, everybody's investigating even more. I haven't made it to the 4th floor. Come on this way. We found one of our walk-in closets. Guess how many?
Here's the top of the elevator shaft. Yeah, the counterweight's right there.
So, there's only one piece of furniture that survived in this building. This corner office used to be the division engineer for the railroad worked out of here.
This is quite the building. Incredible view. Oh, there's the speeders down there. That's a scrapyard, and right there, that's the elevator shaft that I showed you earlier. Goes straight up to the surface. That little tiny speeder's got a beast of a horn. Gotta get back with the tour here.
This way you can see the railroad
That's the transom windows.
Maintenance way building, the police station shouldn't be there. That used to be where they had the transfer stuff. It was all part of the railroad yard, you could see from there.
This building's in various states of disrepair, but still a modernized building.
Well, it seemed to work. Every now and then we get a group that says, hey, we'd love to come move into this building. All the Park Service needs to do is shell out a couple $1 million to modernize it for us. Yes.
The open air shaft.
The building is 4 stories. The storage side, which you can see out that window, is only 3 stories. And 4 stories.
Was all the electrical wires buried in the concrete?
Woodwork, concrete work.
There's another one of those safes. Put on some light and show you. And they got big drawer system in here. Shelving. It's like almost like a little bomb shelter. Going up?
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't last that way, but nope.
Okay, we're gonna go this way. This way, that way. Now don't go that way.
Yeah, I saw, I found that out.
Like the open stairwell there?
Yeah, that 30-foot drop isn't a very good thing. It scares me when you even get close to it.
I remember that.
I walked right in there like, ooh. There's also a
I'm
big
surprised
one.
they leave that open like that.
It's because you got a good person.
So as you go from the wood floor, this is the storage side where you have a nice flat floor.
Look at the old radiator system here.
This is part of the storage.
Even has some detail on it.
Like this is the third floor, the entire second floor was like this. The first floor where we have our offices in was like this, plus the basement, so they could store a lot of stuff.
So like this floor, you don't have the working elevators, you can't really move things into it.
We really can't move anything. We do have the elevator shaft, but they are not functioning right now.
What was the heating source for this building originally?
The heating source for this building, this was a steam heated building. Have you seen the Matta Street Tower?
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a power plant adjacent to the Matta Street Tower, is the Matta Street Power Plant. And they generated all the steam that they needed in this complex.
Okay.
So they had their own generating station, they had their own gas, they had
They would have piped it here for like the radiators and stuff?
throughout the radiators.
Okay.
So that's how it was heated. No air conditioning. Yeah. Yeah. Although it gives you a good view up all around. So, gives you a good view of the locomotive, pedestrian walkway going to the mall. Diesel containment rings, sand storage tower.
Is that still used? The storage tower?
No, there's sand in there, but we aren't using it anymore. Someday we'd like to get all the sand out of about 1/3 full.
And that shaft, is that just the stairwell?
It's kind of a stairwell, but there's also a conveyor belt. They used to be able to drop the sand at the base of it. There was a bin underneath it, and they had a conveyor belt up the wood shaft.
Okay.
And the thing is, with the conveyor belt, there's a lot of shaking going on. They didn't want to make that out of concrete. It was better to have it out of wood because wood gives a little bit.
Flexible, yeah.
But if it was concrete and they tried to run those things up there, it would have just disintegrated. But again, some of the best views you get in the park are from this building. Now, I used to give tours of the sand house and take people up to the top of it. So, Then the safety people got a hold of it. Okay, like to head on in. Like I tell my kids, or used to tell my kids before they grew up, and I still tell them, look with your eyes, not with your hands.
Yeah, they got quite a collection of stuff here. Check that out.
I've got 4 really good toys. The oldest is a graphic designer. The second oldest is an engineer, building engineer.
Look at the signal lamps.
One's an accountant, and the 4th one is a theater major.
And I'd love to have something just like that.
But this is our museum collection area, mostly 3-dimensional stuff we store in here. Oh, let me see. Oh boy. Oh boy, well, they're in insulators. Yeah, we have a couple drawers of insulators. We have railroad operators, engineers, not engineers, conductor uniforms and hats. We have.
Yeah, light.
No. Actually, we put stuff in here so we can find it. It's not a place you hide stuff away in.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's one of the largest archival collections in the National Park Service, well over 4 million documents. And they're focused on the DL&W Railroad, the Erie Railroad, Lehigh Valley, as well as the subsidiaries of those railroads. We also have a few other minor collections. The Nathan Manufacturing Company that made lubricators and whistles for steam locomotives. So a little bit of everything here. Let me show you the place I'm most proud of. Are the ones that are so delicate that I would need a paper conservator.
Jeez, these are all maps.
Well,
Blueprints and maps.
about 48,000 of them have been scanned in, and they are accessible through contact with me, and hopefully someday we'll get a website set up where you. Those books would be amazing to get into.
Oh, look at the glass
Yeah.
photos.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
See?
The glass photos.
Is that Tunkhannock Viaduct?
It might be Martins Creek.
Hmm.
I'd have to look to be sure.
Really cool.
Yeah, it's Tunkhannock. Was set up, how the ledgers were set up for them, the catalogs, if you wanted to buy a particular lubricator or injector, that would explain it. Some people have said that explains how you use this stuff. I'm not a mechanic, I'm not an engineer, but I know enough to say that someday somebody might be able to use this.
This place is incredible, loaded with archives, materials, documents, dies for parts. Unreal how much is here. So much that's able to be preserved and shared for future generations.
Only goes from the first to the second floor. This is the second floor on this side. So now we can head downstairs to the first floor.
Alrighty, so that was a look and tour inside Steamtown's office and storage building. I do want to thank Pat McKnight, the park ranger, for his detailed tour of the facility. The downstairs basement subway tunnel is incredible. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see all of it today due to some loose crumbling concrete or cement. But again, I will have previous tours linked down below in the description where you will be able to see what the end of the tunnel looks like. This is only available during Railfest or upon special request if you contact him through the park services to get a private tour. But inside is loaded with thousands, if not millions, of documents, items, everything that's preserved to help future generations understand what was here at one point in the past and to help carry it on into the future. So if you liked any part of this video at all, make sure you not only give the video a thumbs up, but leave a comment down below. Tell me what you enjoyed about it. RJ and Sparky did film a video as well, so I'll link their channels down below as well. But it's an incredible place. Not everyone gets to see this type of place as far as the access to the basement. And again, Railfest is pretty much your only time the public could come do it. They do it 2 times each day, so a total of 4 tours for the weekend. So with that said, I want to thank you for watching, and until next time, we'll see you in the next video.